can leave.
Are we ready? Rock
Pew,
steady.
pew, pew, pew.
Pew, pew. Okay. Welcome back to Black Woman Be Whole, episode 7. Ladies, we are back. It's fabulous. There's spring in the air. It's beautiful weather. And I'm so excited to be talking about this topic today. And we are talking about where can you find your safe spaces. And we're your hosts, Kim, Ednisha, and Markia. And
What's up? What's
wait,
up? What's up?
Hey, friends.
hey. But before we get into our topic, I want to check in with my girls because we've had some rough goings going on over here, personally, professionally, and everything in between. So, Markia, what are you working on this week?
This week, I am working on mentally preparing for traveling in a Panasonic picture. Heading out of town for a few days and just wrapping my head around what that looks like. I haven't been on a plane in a very long time, and I have not traveled since, COVID hit. So just preparing mentally for that.
Girl, I've been out in these streets since COVID hit. I've been on a plane. I don't know how many times. I'm just gonna keep it real. I've been masked up. I'm fully vaccinated. It's about to be lit this summer. I can't stay in the house again. Like it's not happening. So baby, they better get ready. CDC then told me to take off my mask. My lipstick is ready to be popping. It's about to be a problem.
Girl, you
The
better
streets
keep
are
that
calling your
mask
name.
on.
The streets are calling
Going
her
through these
name.
streets. Dude, I haven't been on a plane at all. I'm nervous in the service about traveling and flying, especially considering, the fact that I had COVID, y'all. It took me down to the ground. That's some shit right there. So we'll figure it out.
I didn't know if
Um,
you was gonna say it, Kim. I didn't know if you was
yeah,
gonna let the world know
yeah.
if the struggle
Listen,
has been real for you.
It
struggle
has.
bus, like COVID, DVT, pulmonary embolism. I'm here. Like I was telling people, I feel like a miracle. I survived COVID, blood clots in my leg and my lung. I'm ready to go. Like somebody better be rubbing up on me this summer because I deserved it. That's
You
all I'm gonna
do.
say. Okay.
Come on, I deserve.
Listen,
Let's just talk about what I deserve right now, right? After
yeah,
COVID.
that's what I deserve. So enjoy your trip, Markia.
Yes.
I'm working on this week. I'm working on actually my space. Like I'm clearing things out. I've been throwing things out, getting ready to have my, room and apartment painted, new beginnings. And so I feel like I'm recreating my space and my sanctuary. So that goes right in line, I think, with what we're talking about this week. So that's what I'm working on. What about you, Anisha?
Had to think about this one long and hard. What am I working on? So I believe I'm working on not giving unsolicited advice or my opinion.
Mm,
Yeah, because I'm thinking that there are moments when I believe that I'm being supportive. And however, maybe the support that I'm giving is not what the other person wants, right? But it's hard when I do have people in my life who, when I ask them, how can I support you? They don't know. But then they also don't want the support that I'm giving. So I'm learning how to not talk as much. Like that's hard. As a therapist, yes, I do listen a lot, but of course, I mean, I'm a curious person at heart, right? Because I'm curious about people and what's going on with them. So I'm about to stop asking as many questions as I normally ask, right? I mean, this is actually geared toward maybe one or two people in my life. Let's be clear about that. But yeah, I'm learning how to not give some unsolicited opinions or thoughts. That's gonna be hard for me. So that is what I'm working on. And what I haven't talked about on here is real quick is that I have a new role. I am now a caretaker to my father. So during COVID, during the last couple of months, he had got really sick and he had 2 strokes. And so now I am his caretaker. And so my whole life has changed for the better, right? Because I get to spend more time with him, but it's still different. So I'm working on accepting that, right? That this is my new life and accepting that, this is where I am. And how do I make it all fit? So yeah.
yeah. I think in him living with you, you're creating a safe space for him to heal and you know, the space that you're now created, the joint space is very interesting. So, you
Come
know,
on, Kim. I
come
like
through,
that one.
caretaker, come through. I know you're tired. I
Come
know you're
through.
tired.
I'm
We
trying to
love a
be
segue.
somebody's good daughter, somebody's wife, somebody's therapist. I'm doing it all from my living room. So yes,
Mm. We
flash
definitely gonna
dynamic.
talk about that at the next episode, because that's gonna be a doozy, girl. We're gonna bring that to light. Y'all better tune in for that one. So I think it's a good segue to really talk about like safe spaces, right? Like Black Woman Be Whole, we created that to be a safe space for Black women, right? So Anisha, do you want to talk about that a little bit and we chop it up, and then Markia, maybe you could join in a little bit and talk about how you see it as being a safe space for Black women?
Um, so I think that this really in my head, before me and you kind of started talking, I realized how much of a safe space I was for Black women as their therapist, right? And then so I was thinking, like, what if, like, the power of the group dynamic, like, what if we can have that safe space that I provide for women on a one-on-one that we can provide for many women at a time, right? And I remember, Kim, when we were going out and we were just trying to find out like what was out there for women, right? That where we could feel included and appreciated and empowered and celebrated. We were going places, but like they were mainly white spaces. And I didn't always feel celebrated, didn't always feel included, didn't always feel appreciated. So I was like, well, is this really what I'm looking for? And that's when we were like, yo, can we create that for Black women? Can we do that? Right? Because we actually realized that we created what we needed. And I don't even know if we knew it at the time, but we created something that we needed. I needed to be somewhere where I felt like somebody gets me, right? Like
Yeah.
y'all understand me. I don't have to explain too much, right? I give you just enough and you can fill in the blanks because you're just another Black woman and you just get it. Um and I think that I think sisterhood is so important. Doing the work that I do, I didn't realize that there were so many women who didn't have friends like that sisterhood, right? And not to say that, with Black Women Be Whole, like every woman that they come in contact with, if they come to our workshops and stuff, is going to be their friend. But I do think that there is this feeling of I feel understood, included, and celebrated. And so maybe a friendship can come about from it.
I like that. I like Black Women Be Whole because I think it serves for us. It's an extension of the space that we've created amongst the three of us, right? Like we had to get to a level of trusting one another and a space of being able to foster a relationship where we can have those nonverbal moments, right? Where we can have those, I think this is what you need in this moment times. And with the page, we're able to kind of share that with Black women. So oftentimes, when we are posting things, there are things that relate to us. There are things that we want to see in the world. There are things that make us feel heard or important or what have you. And we like to share that with you all. So hopefully you all are getting that feeling that, it's relatable because it is stuff that we're living through and working through.
Yeah, I think I love when people comment and engage with us on our social media platform. I'm through IG because it resonates with them. And so I think, we've always got more work to do to create this thing that we're trying to build, and the vision changes, and the pandemic has shifted some of the way we do things, and I think it'll be for the better, but we hope to be present so that energy can resonate and bounce off of each other, in a room. But I think ultimately for me is like I was tired of being in spaces where I wasn't put first. Like my thing, who I am, what I want, the people who are talking about or giving me the information, they don't come from that space that culture that I come from. And so how you give me that information doesn't resonate with me as much as someone who does come from that space or that culture that I come from. And so there's something magical about seeing someone like, yeah, you get it. Like when you feel comfortable telling somebody the shit you've been through, you in a safe space, right? Like I think that for me is one of the biggest um characteristics of what a safe space is. And, you know, being free from the white gaze in some regard has actually freed me up, because the shit I want to talk about, I want to talk about white people sometimes, or people who, you know, do anti-blackness. Like, come on, what are you doing over here? And then sometimes, you know, I don't want my body, you know, when you have the male gaze, to be the thing that is focused on, because I just want to be creative and I want to chop it up with, you know, with other women, like compliment you and know it's not something where now it's going to cause a problem. Because now somebody like, oh, you think I want you. So, I mean, what do you all consider a safe space for you as a Black woman? Or if you want to expound on some of those things or some other ones.
I think the interesting thing about this is that the three of us, I feel like we've created this safe space for each other. And then it shows up in the work that we do for Black Women Be Whole. So Kim and I, yes, me and you've been friends for like 20 years, but we became closer since we started Black Women Be Whole, right? I met Markia, and now the three of us have just like this understanding that like I can look at one of y'all and know something ain't right. And then I can tap into that and you'll actually tell me what's wrong. So the transparency and the vulnerability that we've created with the three of us, that feels safe for me, right? I feel like if I really got some stuff going on and you ask me, I'm gonna tell you exactly what's going on. And I know I'm gonna be supported. And I know I'm gonna feel heard, and y'all gonna listen to me. And there's not gonna be judgment and there's not gonna be criticism. And so I think that when I think about safe spaces, for me, it is free of that judgment. It is free of that criticism. Um, and it is a space where I know that my vulnerability will be, I feel like it's gonna be cherished. Right. And I think as Black women, sometimes vulnerability is always like a hard spot for us, right? Because, you know, we're supposed to be like strong, soft at the same time, all these things. But I'm like, yo, I'm struggling. And I can say that. And you guys get it and you listen and you're there for me. So for me, you know, safe spaces have to be defined by the person, right? Like we can say that Black Women Be Whole is a safe space, but it's up to the women that are a part of it to decide that. But we're hoping that they see what we see, you know?
No, I definitely agree with that. And not to be redundant, but I do think that there is something to a space where you can be your full self, right? Like you can, like we've had to divulge some tough shit in like the last couple weeks and months in our personal lives, and like sharing that and it being like, okay, what do you need? The response is not like, oh girl, that was stupid, or why did you do that? It's like, okay, what do you need? How do I support you? What does support look like? Do you know? How can we rally together to support one another? So I think that that is very important in any situation as a Black woman. And I would say even just as a person, because even sometimes with other Black people, there are not safe spaces. Like if you are not
Right.
a certain type of Black, if you are not a certain type of woman, if you do not present in a certain type of way, people may automatically judge you. So I think if you ever, like to what Kim was saying, you know, feel like you can just tell your full truth in a situation, then that's a very good and safe space to be in. And we're hoping that we are giving that to you all when you come to our Instagram page.
And our podcast, right?
Definitely.
We're hoping
And
that this
eventually
becomes
our
a safe space.
workshops.
Right. All
See
of
the
it. All of
progress.
it.
Word.
Bang, bang, bang.
Boom, boom to the boom. But I love that you said that, Markia, because I think that that's always part of it. Like sometimes the people that you're in the room with that look like you, or your skin folk ain't your kinfolk, as they say sometimes, right? And
Come
so
on, come
you
through.
really have to, you know, discern like what is safe. You know, sometimes just because you look like me, it doesn't make it a safe space. You hope it does, but it doesn't always work out that way. And I think another a word that kept, you know, coming up while the both of you were talking was welcome. Like
Mm,
welcoming, excited. You know, when someone's like, "Yes, come in," like this is the place you want to be with. Like, let's have some excitement, or let's just really like let's vibe. You know, sometimes you go into a place that's dead. You like, I don't want to be here. Like, I don't know what's going on. It's weird. Let me get up out of here. But a place that's like welcoming and that models like the kind of thing, you know, like facilitates human connection, or that shows like those characteristics of human connection. I think, safe becomes very different for people at different parts of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
You may need a lot more hand holding, which requires a safe space, or you may need like more freedom. Like, I just want to be wild. Like, yeah, I want to twerk and I want nobody bothering me. Like, throw the music on, put on Meg Thee Stallion. Marquis, I see you getting your knees like Megan on over there sometimes when you're doing your Effect Fitness.
I got my
So-
Tootsie Roll knees. They not quite Megan. If I drop too low and get this eagle on, it's gonna be a problem. I'm gonna hear a little crackety crack, clankety clank.
The eagle has landed.
I'm jealous of Marquia. She actually knows it. I don't even try and keep it on the low. I cannot get low at all.
Quad strength. Shout out to Lola. It's all about the quads, pulsates.
That's
But
it.
even with that, even with this conversation, right? Like the way that I feel like I can keep it real, right? We always talk about keeping it real, right? Like I can say that and it's not a thing. It's just like, it's funny. And when you were talking about welcoming earlier, Kim, I was like, yeah, inviting. And I try to be that for people, right? Like I try to be inviting. When people come in a space that I'm in, I greet people. Just because girl guy, whoever, I don't want you to be uncomfortable. Like I want you to know that this is a good space for you, right? And I'm here and I'm like, what's up? Hello, my name is, like, I'm that girl and I'm from New York. And people be like, New Yorkers are rude. I was like, no, we not. They'd be like, I can't believe you're from New York. And yeah, I am. Like, why can't you be inviting to people? You don't know what people are going through in their lives, especially as Black women. We deal with like emotional, physical, psychological burdens of being a Black woman every day. Like when I'm around a Black woman, it feels like a support group that I didn't even know I needed. That's what I want. That's that invite and welcoming feeling. I want to feel like I'm at a support group, even though we just stand around kicking it. That's what I need.
Have y'all seen a Black Lady sketch show? That's like the Courtroom Kiki
I
sketch.
do watch it.
Yes, it's a Black Lady podcast.
Okay. That's right. But it's when you say that, I'm also thinking about like how, words, the words that people use let you know that they're inviting, it's not just actions, it's also words as well. And how you move in alignment with that, what you're saying, what you do says a lot to someone, like the nonverbal, but also the verbal piece of that, tells you what's a safe space.
It's also energy, not to be on my woo-woo shit, but I'm
Go
just
ahead and
saying,
get on
when
the woo-woo, girl.
You stay with the woo. Like when you be
But
like
it's
Mercury is
true.
in retrograde,
It's
and y'all know, I
coming.
be like, I do not resonate with none of that. But when I listen to you, I hear it. I'm like, I don't feel none of those energy stuff. I don't know.
You do though. Think about it. Like if you meet someone and you go into a situation and you're like, I get a bad vibe from them, that's their energy. So people can feel that, like just from standing near you and how you present yourself, and if your body language is closed off and all of that fun stuff. So I think being cognizant of that, I think nonverbals are much more important than verbals, because you can be like, hey girl, and I can sense that you're a fake bitch. So hey,
you can hit me with the hey girl, look me up and down. I'm like,
exactly.
I don't know.
See, look at you reading energy, friend. Look at that.
I remember in college, Kim and my other girlfriend would be like, you be looking people up and down, right? I'm like, I do. And they like, yeah, do you know that people don't be thinking that you like them? For real? I didn't know I was giving off that energy. So it's interesting that you talk about energy, and I'm like super, I want to be inviting. And I didn't even know, like I was low key bitchy back in the day, and I had no idea. I thought I was like the nicest person ever. It was like, yeah, no. You a fashionista, you be looking people up and down, checking them out. It don't look good. And I was like, wow. Didn't know the energy I was giving off.
See,
And that's interesting because the next topic was weird spaces where you felt unsafe. So you created some unsafe situations and spaces for people way back then
that I had no idea about. So that's interesting, right? The things that we do that we are not aware of. And sometimes it takes someone to say it to you. And I never forget when I think Kim said it to me, and I was really surprised. I was like, I do that. And sometimes we do things that we're not aware of, but and I wasn't mad because I checked my behavior, right? Like I appreciated her telling me, but I don't know if my 19-year-old self took it the way that I take it now. The way I'm explaining it may not be how it happened.
It might have been like that, bitch. You know, some of the bitches up in there, but that's okay. You know, we work through shit.
But I think that that's important too to acknowledge, right? Is when you could possibly be the unsafe space, right? Intent and impact are two very different things.
Come on,
so you
come
have
through
to
it.
be mindful. You have to be mindful. You didn't intend to give them a stank eye, but you did, right? And you unintentionally created an unsafe space. So what are the next steps? If you are cool with being an ice queen, then continue doing what you're doing, right? But if you want to fix that, then you have to be intentional. You have to be willing to apologize. You have to be able to do those things in order to also reestablish that trust, because the safety is gone if they feel that the intent was nasty.
Come on, Markia. That is
It's the off the
serious,
cuff,
though.
bro. It's the off the cuff.
No, it's serious. How, like, are you willing to make the proper changes once you find out that this is the things that you're doing? If you are making a space unsafe for someone, are you willing to maybe have a conversation and maybe apologize, or at least acknowledge, have some ownership? Because people out here, they don't be acknowledging stuff. They don't be taking no ownership, right? So like, how do we take ownership of our stuff and be like, you know what? That wasn't my intention to make you feel that way. And I apologize. I really didn't know I was doing that.
And I think it's interesting. Yeah, that's where Black girl shit.
Okay.
Right there. That's where Black girl shit. Right? But I think it's also like your stage of life, like, you know, at the age that we were, whenever that happened, we were still forming like who we are as adults. And so there's a lot of people who created unsafe spaces that they may not realize they have to atone for, because they may have forgotten it or it wasn't that important to them, but someone remembers it, you know, and so they're the villain, you know, in that story. And
yeah, what is it like to be the villain in somebody's story? You don't even know.
Right?
It happens a lot.
Unsafe situations.
But to that point, right, being that villain, you have to listen. If you're gonna be the villain, stand 10 toes down in your shit if you're not gonna actively try to change it, right? Because what's the point of you saying, well, that wasn't my intention, and leaving it at that? You don't really care. You're more concerned about how you look to other people. You're not concerned about how that person feels when they're around you.
I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. No, you did hurt my feelings.
You did.
You did. So just say that you apologize for hurting my feelings. If you took it some type of way, then no. Can we stop that, y'all? Can we please stop that type of language?
You like, where did you get this from? Who taught you how to apologize like this? Because this is not working. Because you making me more upset right now. Because it ain't fucking authentic, bitch. Calm down.
Well, you know, Black parents don't apologize, but that's a whole other thing. So maybe that's the root of the situation. It's like, oh, are you hungry?
Come through with the origin of it, right? Like this is where it really came from.
I am hungry, but you also, so we're just not gonna, okay. McDonald's, I guess. Like,
you like, what is this?
No, I had someone tell me that they don't know how to apologize because they've never had to. And so they struggle with that because there was a time in their life that they did everything right. And so they never had to apologize for anything. And now in their adult life, they have no idea how to do it. And the struggle is definitely real. So I think it's interesting how we don't always know people's backstory, right? So I know you hear Markia, if y'all could see her, she is side-eyeing this whole thing. Like, who don't know how to apologize? What
not even that.
Never had to.
It's the never had to. It's the lack of self-awareness for me. So you were just doing harm to people, likely, and just being like, well, that's my problem. And
but they really thought that they were trying to do everything right. Right. Like, so they never had to apologize because, so say if you was always a good girl when you were a young kid, right? Like everything mommy, daddy, whoever wants you to do, you did it. So like, you never had to say sorry. You don't know how to say sorry and actually mean it and feel it and all of it. And I thought that was such an interesting premise that I never really thought about until I started looking at some of my relationships. And I was like, oh, you don't know how to take ownership because you never really had to. Nobody put your feet to the fire, right? Yeah. And told you like, hey, you've done this thing. Like, we should talk about it. Because
Mm.
in Black families, we just act like shit didn't happen. Hold up. You just hurt my feelings this morning. This afternoon, you like, what's up? Like nothing happened. No, I'm still hurt. Hello. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, that's the most bizarre thing because that's the conditioning. You like, and you just fall in line because no one is willing to engage in real like healing conversation or a conversation that like allows you to do some conflict management or whatever. Like that is so wild. But that is
But
it's not it's a problem in general, but we talking just about Black people culture because that's all we care about right now. Hello.
but is that an extension of people not knowing what safe spaces look like or how to create them, right? Like you're growing up
Mm.
in these situations where you don't know what a safe space looks like, in addition to not having had to apologize. You're also not understanding what it is to be safe because they weren't safe to be their full authentic self. You're telling me that you did everything right in an attempt to please other people, but you were never in a space safe enough to make mistakes to get to a point where you had to say sorry.
Come on. That's
Mm.
it. There we go. Right. Like, so as a kid, if I was told kids are seen and not heard, was I ever really my authentic self? Because ain't nobody give a about what I thought and what I felt. So I don't know how to actually verbalize these things now because I never had to, because I was always shut down. I was always told
Mm.
to shut up. I was always told to be quiet and stay in a child's place. And they wanted me to grow up and be like this amazing person. And that's not real.
You like I
That's
didn't have the
not real.
tools. I didn't
Not
have the tools.
not a tool in the toolbox. That
Yeah, and
that
you
I
can't
had a
thrive.
hammer and I needed a screwdriver.
Like this is not going to work right now. You know, and the hammer is probably the proper tool to describe it because hammers just be busting shit up. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no finesse. What you doing over here? Bang, bang, boom. Okay, that's it. You know, but when I think about spaces where you feel unsafe, those things are like criticism, you know, judgment, silence, shaming, you know, places where you can't express yourself, or if you do, there's no patience or kind of like grace and compassion given when you make mistakes. Because going back to what you just said, you don't know how to correct things if you're automatically shut down or you're never given the opportunity to express something, you know. And that just reminded me like when we were talking to Mason about something and we were like, where did that come from? You know, and we were like, okay, we might need to just have a conversation with you later so that we can widen up your perspective about things. Because if you're only receiving this kind of way of being and it's not validating or it doesn't see you, it's definitely going to feel unsafe. I don't know what else, what are some other characteristics, but for me, those are definitely some things that make me feel unsafe.
So I
I
think a
agree.
long time ago you asked the question and we kind of went off on a tangent because that's what we do
Yes.
on here about have there been spaces where you felt unsafe? I think that I'm gonna start. I've so throughout my college experience, like master's, undergrad, like I've been to predominantly white institutions and I have often felt super unsafe. And actually, not just unsafe, but I am straight up traumatized by some shit that has went down in some of these classes and just living on campus when I was an undergrad. And I just didn't feel like I could be my authentic self. I didn't feel included. I didn't feel affirmed. I didn't feel empowered. Um, and so I think about that now. And even when I went back to graduate school the second time, y'all, I've been to graduate school twice, but whatever. We'll talk about that stuff another time. But when I went back, I went to another all white institution. And it was like, girl, didn't you learn your lesson the first time? But the underlying piece about all of that is that sometimes those all white institutions be the institutions that are considered predominant, right? And like great institutions that you want to be at and they are well respected and things like that. But when I get there, what is it like to be the only Black person in the classroom, right? Like, what is it like when we talk about Black issues that everyone has an expectation that I have all the answers? And it was really, really difficult for me to have people talk about Black people like, well, you African American, Black, whatever y'all want to be called now. And it's just like, as a young person, that shit scarred me. And when you talk about unsafe, I think that's the first time that I could remember really feeling unsafe. I'm pretty sure I felt unsafe in my household with all the tomfoolery that went down. I'm one of 7 kids. But what really sticks out for me is, continuing to be in these predominantly white institutions as a Black woman. Um, and a Black child, because when I started college, I was 17, right? And what that was like for me, and not feeling affirmed, and not feeling like I could be me, and feeling like I had to explain my hair, explain my body. People asked about my complexion, my mannerisms, my socioeconomic, it just was like, I was put on display. It always felt like I was overexposed because everybody wanted to know so much, and the way that they asked about it never took into consideration how I would feel when they asked the question.
Mm, I feel you on that one, friend, because we went to the same institution.
Oh yeah,
So
you was there with me.
I was there with you, Um, and that's interesting because I felt that as well, but I don't think it's impacted me in the way that it's impacted you.
And we've always
And
talked about that. Yeah, my
yeah,
shit run deep. You was
yeah,
able to brush it off your shoulders like Jay-Z, like you was out there living your life. And I was
yo,
somewhere with my fist up talking about Black power. This is some bullshit. Like, fight the power. And Kim was
right.
like, what fraternity party are we going to this weekend again?
But it's also, and now here's why I think I took it as like I can be in in any environment and thrive.
Yes.
Like it don't matter. Like, remember that time you and Chanel came to that karaoke thing? Y'all came in. I was like, we the only Black people. I was like, yo, we partying. Like, partying with my Asian people. Let's go. So I think, for me, like, I look at situations like, how do I, how do I best not survive it, but thrive in it and get what I need? Because it's going to be what it's going to be. And either I can like succumb to that, or I can just be like, how do I still get what I need from this? And that simply came from like my family upbringing, growing up in the projects. Like, okay, fight this, that, the other. Like, if you don't fight them, you got to fight me. Like, just you make decisions about things very quickly because you have to, and you're
Adapt.
conditioned to just be like, this is what it is. How do you then move past it so that you can still continue on, because there's just so many things that get thrown at you. And I think for me,
Right.
like, that's how I took that conditioning from when I was young, and I brought it with me there, and I continued to bring it in other spaces, and because it served me, and then it's allowed me to sort of like not be above it or not hide from it, but to, just like, that's what it is. But I think also, like, part of why we create a safe space for Black women is because there's nobody creating it for us. And we've always
Right.
been like, the three of us, me, you, and Chanel, like, we've always been a group within the subgroup, which is within the predominantly white group. So, we created our own space. Like, we all we got. Like, we were friends with other people, but when one of us wanted to drop out, let her know. When I was crying like paper, you were like, I need you to calm down. We're gonna get this paper done because you're not dropping out because of fucking paper. It was like, wow, but we supported each other. So, I looked at it like I had refuge from the larger issue there, you know.
For us, by us. Black woman be whole is FUBU out here. But before it was Black woman be whole, it was still for us, by us. You have to figure out where that space is. So for you, Markia, was there spaces where you felt unsafe?
And also to be clear, like I think unsafe doesn't necessarily mean like I feel like I'm in danger, right? But yesterday, I'll
Right.
give you an example because the example I'm using is like a little, I guess, more arbitrary, but something that happens every day. So I had to go bra shopping yesterday, which is
Okay.
not ever fun. And I'm heavier chested, so I have to go to Lane Bryant Cacique to get my bras, which are $70 a pop, which is a whole other discussion we can
Shout
talk about
out to
another
the
day.
tick old bitty women out here.
Ugh.
Go through.
I'm at
I feel ya.
Marshall's getting a bra for $6.99.
No one cares.
beat
No one
her. What do you-
cares.
You got a beat cup, girl. Get out of here.
But yeah, so I'm at, Lane Bryant yesterday with my homegirl, and I was just like, hey, I need a new sports bra. The wire in my other one broke. And like it was just a very uncomfortable experience. Like one lady was trying to explain to me how to wear a bra. Like I haven't been doing this since the fourth
How many
grade.
years?
Like I literally had a training bra. I think third or fourth grade was my first one. So I've been doing this for a little bit. And it was like, oh, then it was like, well, what kind of workouts are you doing? So then like now you're implying that like, what do you think I'm doing? Like taking like quick
Low
walks or
impact?
something?
Like,
Yeah,
what
like
we talking about
what do you
here?
think I'm doing?
You
Right.
didn't show her your nuggets.
I definitely was like, these are the workouts that I do. And I was like, oh, so you're on a weight loss journey. That's so exciting.
What?
Right.
Who said that?
The woman at the damn store.
No, but but that's what I'm saying
No.
to her. Like, who told you I was on a weight loss journey?
Right. Like she was like, oh, so like you're working out, that's why you need this bra. Okay, but as you lose weight, this will fit
Oh.
better. Like it was very uncomfortable. Now, granted, she had talking and ultimately gave me like an extra discount because I'm me, but like it was very uncomfortable. And
Adaptability.
because I was also like, these bras are $70 a piece and I need help.
Right.
But the lady at the end of it was then also like, oh, you should come work here. No.
What the hell? Wait. Wait, what
No.
here? You went to buy a bra, you got all of that. You like, I just came to get a bra. Come through.
Literally, I was like, I need this in this
Turned
size.
into a job interview. Like,
Here's my name. Call me and let me know you. I'm not applying, girl. I have a job and y'all are annoying. So I won't be there. No. And it made me like, I was like, I'll never come back to this Lane Bryant ever again. That was at the end of it. I was like, this was too much. I just needed
yeah.
a 42H, not to be all my business, but that's all I needed. They didn't have it. I was like, what's comparable? Because I need it for my trip, because a part of the trip is a workout. And I cannot have my bra stabbing me in my boob and have me bleeding while I'm trying to work out. Like
Yeah, nobody understands that wire situation. That wire, when it comes out and it
it's like
up underneath your arm and it leaves a mark too.
Yes.
Like, it's the worst thing in the world.
stabbing you in the heart, betrayal. It is the worst betrayal in the world. Not you being $70. And then I remember I heard it snap. It was like, and then it was
Like,
just
this
coming
is
at my
sexual.
boob. But yeah, like even like shopping experiences and with my body type, as I'm losing weight, as I've gained weight, what have you, it's always been a weird thing. People always say weird shit. Like, oh, you have such a nice shape for your size.
You like, you could have left off those last 3 words. and
Right. Like if you could
left it at
just
that.
help me find this in a large, I just need, are you sure you don't want this size? Because you're kind of busty. So this might, what did I ask you for? Are you wearing it? Are you paying for it?
Right.
All right.
You like,
then.
if I want to walk around with camel toe, let me. That's my business. Okay.
Right.
Mind your business. I'm walking around with
I'm putting the
camel
girls
toe.
on the glass. That's on my that's my business too. They up out here. The babies is out the stroller. Do this.
But yeah, like I think that, that's a thing. And I don't even think, like, I'm sure in their mind, they're like, oh, we're being encouraging. Like at one point, the woman was like, well, make sure you don't give up on yourself on your weight loss journey. And I was just
Oh,
like,
hell no.
Now she's a therapist. Now, like, she's a motivational speaker and she sells
Like-
bras.
You're like, bitch, shut up. Okay, thank you. And I'm gonna do a comment card about you when I
oh, she was the store manager. So,
You can send an email
call
to corporate.
Where's Yelp when you need a review?
because y'all know I Yelp.
do
0
this
stars.
at store number, whatever. She's a mess. Y'all need to fire her. But I think that I appreciate our different stories because, unsafe can be an experience or a buildup or kind of like, it runs the gamut, right? And And being able to process those things is important because we don't know how those experiences, like Anisha, we had the same kind of experience, but we've reacted to it differently, right?
Yeah,
And so
definitely.
I think that that's an important thing. Like going back to like the Black experience or the Black woman experience, we've got three different experiences, but we've got similar experiences. And we don't have children, none of us do, so we don't have the mommy Black woman experience. And you're married, I'm not, Marquis is not. We don't have the wife, experience. So there's all different layers, and I think that that's important too because we don't know what is considered unsafe to people based on their experiences, and being validating and understanding of that is important.
Yeah, all of our layers, come into place. And so when I think about like why do we need these safe spaces? I think that the safe spaces that I'm trying to get to or be in is for healing. Like I do believe that in some ways the world has been a heavy burden on my shoulders as a Black woman, as a Black person in general. And so I need spaces where it feels like I can get some healing done, right? Like I can start to heal from some of the hurt, right? Whether it was intentional or unintentional hurt, right? And so that's when it comes back to a place where people are listening to me and I'm feeling affirmed and appreciated and I'm feeling included and there's no judgment and criticism like you talked about, Kim. Like I need those spaces because when I go out into the world every day, I'm not sure what I'm going to experience. Um, and I know just like everybody who's listening, we keep seeing all of these videos of Black people dealing with so much racism and harassment and things like that. Like you need a space to talk about that and process like what is that doing to me on a day-to-day basis? What are these videos doing to me? Like, am I now hyper vigilant when I go out? Like, what's
Oh
gonna happen
yeah.
to me today? Is somebody gonna come for me today? And then if they do, what am I gonna do? Like, how am I going to handle this? How am I going to react? Am I going to let this mess up my whole day, my whole week, my whole year? Like, what is this going to be like if something happens? I got to tell you, all of these videos of like the harassment and the racism, they doing a number on me. I have to stop looking at them now because they're starting to overwhelm me where I keep thinking about like, what happens if I'm ever in this situation? Yes, I want to be prepared, but I don't even know if you can prepare for that because you're so caught off guard. Like, I'm just trying to live my Black girl life. Like I'm just out here chilling. Like I'm trying to just have someone be lit for me. I'm not thinking about some Karen or somebody messing with me. I'm not thinking about that, but that happens to us. So we have to have these spaces where we can kind of talk about that and process it because it becomes so important.
Or to be able to walk down the street like unmolested, right? Like, or
Mm,
that's it, just let me get to where I'm
nobody
trying to get
hollering
to.
at you. No cat
Yeah.
calling.
Or being rejected and then escalating it to a very, violent situation. So I think, there's a lot of, my thing is get home safely by any means necessary. You get in the way of that, we're gonna have some problems. There's just some things that, will happen. I mean, living in New York is rough out here right now. And you go on the train station, they slashing people, they doing all sorts of stuff. I pull
They
out my
pushing
mace
people
when
on
I
the
walk
tracks.
outside. Girl, I pull out my mace while I walk out the door, like, okay, no problems.
Cocked and ready.
It's not going to be me. It can't be me today because I'm trying to have a good day. But I think also like why we need safe spaces just so we can like breathe. And and I think to get away from that, like we're human beings and we have all the same needs that other people do. And why are you not applying those same needs to us, but it's okay for you? Like you have a mental health breakdown, but we're angry. Hold up, I'm having a mental health breakdown too. What are you talking about? Like if you're going through some stuff, why would I not go through that as well? Why would you not make an assumption, even if I did or didn't? But why would you not, afford those same kind of feelings or reactions to me as a Black woman? So I think, having that space that validates you, allows you to just like regroup and pause is very important, because you do need a refuge from like all the shit that you experience. And you're like, damn, I'm tired of this. Like a space where you could just like really be imaginative or be creative, something that allows you to be outside of like your reality, because this shit sucks. And I'm just gonna say that it sucks.
I think there's a big power in also being seen when you have a safe
Come on.
space, being able to exist. I think Feel Good Friday probably for us is my favorite post because it's different. I love Feel Good Friday and Support a Sister Saturday. Those are my two most favorites because of the fact that you just get to see Black women being, right? And like you can relate to different parts. Like that one, I think the one we posted recently, I think one of the Fridays recently was the little girls hyping up the girl that was in the street taking her photos. And they were like, come on, girl, model. It's like stuff like that is dope because one thing about a Black woman now, I'll never forget. I was in New York City back when I was dating that awful man that we will not talk about. We will not talk about him. However, I was off the train, right? And I walked down the stairs and the lady said, "Great legs." And it was a Black lady. And I was like, "Oh my God, thank you." Like just those safe spaces with ourselves when we see each other, that community is just so important because it's like someone else out there gets it, someone else sees it. Or when we see those posts online, right? Like where we all live the same life. And they talk about like, Black parents do this or, what was it? The Mother's Day post. And they're like, oh, remember my mama said she wasn't my little friend. Now look at her, my friend. Like stuff like that. That is just so fun. Like I'm all about the fun and the release side of it all. Like having those places where you can just like be silly because Black people are not allowed those things in the white public space. We're able to be silly and be fun. And I think that those things are important too, because we deserve to have joy just as much as anybody else, which is why I probably Feel Good Friday is my favorite one because it's niggas dancing and roller skating and just being Black as fuck. Like, and I love it.
Yo, I be seeing Black people. I'll see a cute, I'll be like, I see you out here. And they be like, okay, okay.
Okay, hair, okay.
We don't even speak in complete sentences. It just be like, okay. Everybody know what it means. I see you. We don't need a verb. We don't need a full sentence.
Yes, girl. And they be like, me?
Yes.
Girl.
Okay, hair.
Girl.
Okay, legs.
Like, okay. You can do it with like inflections. You can use the same word for everything. Like,
right. Right. Girl. Okay, girl. We're so special. Oh, I love being Black so much. It's the best.
I can't lie. I love it too. You can miss me with the hardships, but like I love all the other shit.
Listen, it's real tough, but I would not change any piece of the hardship if I couldn't be Black. I'm sorry. Like I would, I mean, it's not ideal, but I think the beauty of the Black person, and clearly we're off topic again, but the beauty of Black people is that we can take some fucked up shit and still laugh through that shit. Okay?
Flip it.
Have a good time still. Find the jokes. Like when that Derek Jackson shit went down, when that shit with Portia and that man, like Black people, we are natural comedians. Okay. Natural.
Ain't nobody gonna hold me down. Ain't nobody gonna take my stride. Like, yo.
Okay.
I got to keep on moving. That's what Diddy said.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't push us.
And we're creative.
So creative.
I've been smart. Like just when you were saying that, when you were talking about, why we need safe spaces, like we need spaces where people validate like our brilliance.
Yes.
Like, damn, it's like I read this post a while back that said, imagine how many people we lost in the hood, like who would have been like our great inventors or like the change makers, because they didn't get the opportunities, but they made a way, like, or you like somebody in the neighborhood that's known for something, you like, man, even crackheads will, fix your car, and you like, yo.
They are creative, they are inventive, listen, and they are inexpensive. Well, we're gonna leave it there.
Shout out
Okay,
to
but wait,
crackheads.
hold up, y'all.
Not shout out to the crackhead.
Because they exist and they're humans, they just got some shit going on with them, and
True.
keep them in the community. And what
Right.
you gonna do? Get them
You
some
know
help.
that was so politically incorrect, right? That we just that you say, right? Okay, can we
That's
reverse
somebody's
this?
reality, though. That's somebody's reality.
People who
No.
are struggling with addiction to crack cocaine. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Them too.
Who will sell you a VCR and you don't even need a VCR no more, but they'll make you
Yo.
believe that you don't need a VCR because they got tapes when they come to see you.
I got
And
got by
there's
this
people
dude
listening
so
who don't
many
even know what
times.
a VCR is. They're like,
Yo.
what's a VCR?
Oh wow. I
just
do know what a
myself.
VCR is, but
This man tried to sell me a whole bag of cosmetics for $50. I was like, sir, I wish I had the cash. I was like, I wish I had the cash.
Like, you
to
got
get a
Venmo?
bunch of stuff.
Son, you got Venmo?
That's what I wanted to say,
got
but
Cash
I
App?
made an assumption that he did it, and I should have asked.
you should have
Come on,
asked.
Kim. They creative out
Right.
here. We more
Yeah.
creative, technologically sound.
He was like, I got a rush card or something. I don't know.
It's not a rush card. Jesus.
Okay, wait.
Now
So
we just
what
like
are
we
some
making jokes,
tools,
but
guys?
like we like shout out for real. And anybody struggling with addiction, no shade or nothing, but yeah.
So what are some resources that listeners can use to help them find their safe spaces? Like what like and I think when I think about the question, the first thing I think about is for you to look at your friend groups, look at whatever groups that you are a part of and figure out, are they safe? And if they are not, how can you make them safe? Like, you can make any space safe. You just have to be able to verbalize what you need, right? And talk to people about how they are showing up. And maybe they are able to make the change. And if they can't, maybe that is not the space for you. But I think that you have to attempt to make whatever space that you're in safe. That's on you. That is your responsibility to do that, to tell people what you need, what you want from them, and figure out if they can give that to you.
You said that so eloquently. I was gonna say it's the vibes for me. Like, you gotta
Again,
see.
here we go. It's the energy, just
It
the
really
energy.
is, because listen, you
Yeah.
have friends, right? You gotta compartmentalize that shit, right? So you might know that you can't tell Rebecca about your career wins because she a hater. So that's not a safe space for that. But maybe Rebecca is really good at telling you which Fenty beauty looks best on you, and she's gonna be honest about that. So Rebecca may be
Come on.
the cosmetic safe space. But you know, Cheryl may not have fashion sense, but you know, Cheryl a writer, and Cheryl's gonna be like, yes, girl, apply for that job. I'm here for you. I'm not gonna tell anybody. So sometimes you just gotta go with the vibes. You gotta watch how people move, because people will show you who they are.
Okay.
People do weird shit and will put you in a space to be cognizant that, ooh, this is not safe for me to share these things with you. Shit, you might have a cousin Faith, friend Faith, that might try to steal your man, girl. You ain't about to bring your man over there. That's not a safe space for you or your man. So you need to be mindful of that and roll with the vibes. That's all I'm saying.
Damn, Markia. I love that.
I needed
Y'all
that, Markia. I needed that.
assess and discern.
Come
And
on, Kel.
compartmentalize. You know, we had to just throw some words, boom, boom, boom. That's a process, right? I think also what you would piggybacking off of some of that is you have to know what safe means for you, right? And what is and if it changes, you have to, communicate that, verbalize that, but I think you also have to model what a safe space is, because you can show people how to be when you do, right?
Come through with modeling behaviors. That's all I want.
Yes.
The therapist is like, come through with the modeling. Yes.
Don't be a
Model
fake
some
bitch and
behavior.
expect people to be real.
There you go. Because they're like, I'm giving you the energy you giving me.
I'm matching energy. I'm meeting you where you at.
Bloop, bloop, bloop. And a bloop again. Because that's real. You're like, oh, how you show up tells people how to treat you sometimes. So I feel like that was That was a good conversation, ladies. You
Fun
know,
times.
we did the thing today about our safe spaces.
I
I
like
love
that.
that. I love that we're a safe space. We'll continue to be a safe space and we evolve as we go along because that's what,
And we will continue
makes
to
us.
strive to create safe spaces for other Black women as we create
Yeah.
them for ourselves. We are out here trying to create them for other Black women. So when our 4-week course come out, that
Mhm.
we want you to be a part of that, right? So we got a workbook coming out. We got a bunch of things going on. So how are we ending this podcast this week, guys? How are we ending this today?
Marquita,
What's
she
up?
takes us out.
Okay.
Plug the joints. Let's go.
Okay, so thanks for listening to our fun and exciting off-topic conversation today. If you want to follow our shenanigans a little bit further, keep up with what we're doing, follow us on Instagram at Black Women Be Whole. You can follow us on Facebook at the same information. We have a link tree for now, but website is to be coming soon. We will be having a 4-week virtual course and workbook available for you all to start working on your healing. It's gonna, of course, be some real Black girl shit because it is created by the click over here. And definitely just come and engage with us and have a good time. And we'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Later.